Hey everybody, Jake here. In today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to take out the old Sandrail and we're going to find out how much it weighs. This is especially useful when you're trying to figure out something like power to weight ratio, or sometimes for registration purposes you need to know the weight. As you can see, I'm actually just using my legs to move the Sandrail out into position because it's difficult to get through the garage opening, because I have it kind of behind the edge of the garage opening, and you're going to see exactly again what I'm talking about here. See how that thing is on the left? I got to pull the Sandrail out away from the wall to get it out when I want to. By the way, if you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel. And let's get talking about the Sandrail real fast here. I built this Sandrail about 10 years ago. I actually found it originally on eBay, and I found it in West Palm Beach, Florida. I drove up there. It was really, really rough. The original color was like a yellow, and it was basically spray painted, just Home Depot spray paint. Cost me about $2,000, I think, is what I paid the guy, and it was really, really rough. I mean, the dashboard, which held the gauges, was actually made out of a milk jug that the guy had used just to mount stuff. It was really, really bad. It came with a 1600 dual port engine, which I eventually resold on eBay, and I actually had this engine, which is a 2387, built by a guy called, his name is Pat Downs, over at CB Performance in California. If anybody's interested, the purpose of this engine was not to race it, but basically to have a good solid daily driver that wouldn't overheat and be reliable. And I did make it quite large, probably didn't have to go that big, but it's got 94 millimeter Weisco pistons and 86 millimeter stroker crank. The case had to be machined a certain way, and it's got 40 millimeter Weber Carbs on it with a custom ground cam, and of course a couple of other little things on there to make it run with a little more power, like specially ported and polished heads with larger valves and so on and so forth. It makes about 170 horsepower, 180 foot-pounds of torque at about 5,000 RPMs. Anyway, so let's get back to the weigh-in here. And I found this place. It's actually a truck stop off of 27 in Broward County, Florida. And this is a truck stop, so they're used to weighing big, heavy-duty trucks. And I didn't know that, so when I drove up on the scale and went inside the office there, he told me that if the car's under 2,500 pounds, it's not going to. it's not going to.
The system is not less than 2,500 pounds.
But what do you do when you have to weigh like a boat trailer or something like that?
Boat trailer you can with your truck and trailer.
Truck and trailer.
Yeah. Then after take off the trailer, then you can wait for your truck. Then you find out how much pound for the trailer.
Do you know where else I can go to weigh that thing? Is there another weigh station or scale someplace? Yeah, I know where that is. But I'm just wondering if they have the same type of scale.
All right. Now, on your way in, there's the scales are there.
Yeah.
Just pull up on the scales. There's a green light and a red light. The red light will be there. When it turns green, go forward, go up and go into the office. They'll have your ticket ready for you. It costs $5 or something.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, sir. Now, this guy told me to go to a place called the 595 Truck Stop, which he said he weighed his motorcycle on, so obviously it's going to be able to weigh a car. But I didn't feel like driving as far down as I'd had to go to the 595 Truck Stop. So I actually found another place that was closer than that, and it's actually a city dump. And but there are people weighing their trucks there. So the idea is, what you do is, if you have a truckload of stuff that you're going to dump, you drive in with your truck. Let's say it's a pickup truck. They weigh your pickup truck, and when you leave, they weigh your pickup truck again. After you've taken everything off, they subtract how much they've taken, how much the truck now weighs, and that's how much you're dumping, and they charge you by the pound. But they also give you an official ticket through Broward County that basically will tell you what the weight of your vehicle is. If you don't feel like weighing it in and weighing it out, you just weigh it once, and that's the weight of the car. So at the end of the video, I'll show you what the ticket looks like that they give you, and also what the weight of the car actually is. From that, I'll calculate the power to weight ratio, because it's also something I've always wanted to know. And maybe I'll just do a quick comparison to another type of car, like a Porsche or a Corvette, just to see where I stand. Anyway, as you can see, I'm getting close to the scale here, and when I pulled up, there was a lady that jumped out of the booth pretty quickly, and she was there to, I guess, just check me in. She was getting a little bit crazy with the camera. So at a certain point, she yelled at me. I had to put the camera away, and there was an actual police officer right around the bend, and I didn't want to cause a scene.
Please, don't allow cameras over here. This is a government place.
Oh, really?
Okay.
And there you go. She shut me down. So anyway, here's the ticket that they gave me. You can see that the weight of this car was 1,280 pounds. And that's with no driver or no passenger in the vehicle. It's funny, as I was driving up, I asked my son, he was sitting next to me, how much do you think it weighs? And he actually came up with 1,275. He was only 5 pounds off. I had no idea. I was thinking somewhere in the 1,100 range, but anyway. And since we're figuring out power to weight ratio, or weight to power ratio, I figured I would include this dyno chart. And it's not the best chart in the world, but you could see at about 5,500 RPMs is when we reach peak horsepower, which is about at 170 horsepower. And from there, what we're going to do is a simple calculation. What I like to look at, and what makes more sense to me, is figuring out how many pounds each single horsepower is being asked to move. So if you do this calculation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch power to weight to power. Okay, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my weight, 170 pounds, to the 1280, and I came up with 1450. And you can see when you do the calculation, you get 8.5294. That number right there is the amount of weight that each horsepower is being asked to move around. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just compare that number to some other cars on the market, and you can see that it's not exactly in the last spot, but it's not in the top spot either. So you can see the Camaro, 2017 Camaro 1 Super Sport hardtop comes in the top spot at 8.1, and the 2017 Chevy SS comes in at 9.63. But it's not that far away from the Mustang, which is at 8.5, Mustang GT. Now, of course, I'm not saying that the car will go faster than a Mustang. I'm just saying, hey, when you compare apples and oranges, this is kind of what you get. Anyway, listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. Comments and thumbs up are appreciated. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe, and have a great day.